What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So Ryan Coogler doesn't seem like he will be taking a break at all. If you haven't heard, and if you've been under a rock, so to speak, for, I don't know, the last several months, or even this past week, you would have known that his latest film, Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan, playing twin brothers Smoke and Stack, just came out 2 days ago. Well, premiered Thursday, but fully came out on Friday and has been getting a lot of success. I'd say success when you think about it being an original horror story. Typically, and I think this is, if I read correctly, the box office numbers aren't obviously, and they won't be fully counted for till tomorrow. But from what I've read thus far, it's becoming one of the highest grossing R-rated original horror stories. And every one that I've come across, and I've tried not to listen to their updates too much because I don't want to hear any spoilers, but for the most part, everyone has really enjoyed this film and would love to see more from this film. Now, I don't know if the film, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if it ends off on a cliffhanger or if the story allows it to potentially do like a time jump into the future, meaning if it takes place, my understanding, it takes place around like the 20s or 30s, somewhere around there. Again, I'm not sure yet. Again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know the exact time frame. But if it were to move ahead like 40-50 years, I've heard there's a potential in the film that it could open up further stories based off of how this one's laid out. So I've heard people say that, but I've also heard people say it's fine as it is, leave it alone. But everyone, we know Hollywood and we know the studio, Warner Brothers. If this comes out and does better than what they were hoping or expecting, they're gonna push for a spinoff. They're gonna push for a sequel or a prequel or something. That's what Warner Brothers does. They can't help themselves. They can't help but sabotage themselves. And we even talked about how they sabotage Sinners to begin with, how they overbid for the film, which then set the film up to have probably a much bigger box office than it may even have. And then people will look at that and say, oh, well, it didn't make the money it needed to make, so it's not a box office success, it's a failure. But then if you go look at all the praise it's getting across the board, not just amongst fans, but surprisingly even critics, then how can you really say it's a failure? All that to say is Ryan Coogler is off on to potentially his next project. As you see here, a really scary reboot of the X-Files. Now, it's been a long time since I've watched any X-Files whatsoever. I remember this series growing up. Again, it's been a long time. It's not a series I have frequently revisited. Maybe I'll watch an episode here or there, but it's not one where I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to binge watch the X-Files all the way through. It's not a show I would play in the background for background noise. It's just not one of those for me. I do know it is for many people. I do know this does have a huge following. So it would be interesting to see if, in fact, Ryan Coogler does do this, what spin he's going to give it to go along with this headline, a really scary reboot. So let's get into the article details here. Originally reported a couple of years back, Sinners director Ryan Coogler has confirmed, okay, so this is not a speculation, has confirmed in a new interview this week that his next project will bring the X-Files back to the screen. Okay, I thought this was article just going to be about potential speculation, but sounds like that's not the case. Sounds like this is going to be what he's going to be doing next. So that then kind of cancels out. If Sinners is a success, Sinners will not be on his list of the soon to be working on next projects if he's going to be doing this. Coogler tells Last Podcast on the Left, I've been excited about that for a long time and I'm fired up to get back to it. Some of those episodes, if we do our jobs right, will be really scary. We're going to try to make something really great and make something for the real X-Files fans and maybe find some new ones, Coogler added during the same conversation. No word yet on whether or not David Duchovny or Gillian Anderson will return for the new series, but Coogler says that he has spoken to Anderson. Fingers crossed there, he notes. The X-Files is immediately next on Coogler's schedule. Stay tuned for more. Then we have just some background, just some history on it. The X-Files originally ran for 9 seasons from September 93 to May 2002, with 10th and 11th seasons arriving in 2016 and 2018. In total, 218 episodes were made. So, I mean, definitely, I mean, one of those, I mean, and this was pretty typical, you know, for the time period as far as being that long of a show. Nowadays, shows don't seem to last this long. Most shows nowadays just seem to fizzle out after 4 or 5 episodes. And I say fizzle out where either the director says, hey, I have no more story to tell, let's end it. Or if you're like Netflix, you only give it 1 or 2 seasons, and for whatever rhyme or reason, you just cancel it anyways. Doesn't matter if it's popular or not. Additionally, the universe of The X-Files was expanded upon with 2 feature films, The X-Files Fight the Future in 1998, and later The X-Files I Want to Believe in 2008. And then this is the interview. So this is the link to the interview that was mentioned up above. This is the full-length interview. I did check the timestamps for this. It is a little over 35 minutes or so. So we're not going to watch it here, but I will put the link for this article in the description of the video below. So if you want to go check out that full interview with Coogler on that podcast, which was, or is it the last podcast on the left, you can watch the full interview. And especially if there's additional context you want to know about Sinners, because I know they do talk about Sinners a little bit as well. And then this is just a little blip in that overall interview. So I will make sure to include that. So drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Are you down for a much scarier version of the X-Files and it being a reboot? We don't have a timeline on when this is going to happen. I imagine probably not until end of 2026, maybe even 2027, because obviously it sounds like this is moving forward. But getting the official green light, then there's casting, script writing, everything that's going to come with that. And I would be surprised. I won't be surprised. This will probably only get 8 to 10 episodes, but still, that's a lot of work to do. Then all the marketing push behind it. So I think it's going to be a while before we see this. So that's why, as I mentioned earlier, I don't see Coogler. If Warner Bros. Wants to push something further with Sinners, it's going to happen anytime soon. So if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Later.